Previously on C90 Adventures. So I'd finished editing in the Baja and was now getting the ferry to the mainland. Once on dry land, the plan was to head off and ride the remaining 2,000 miles of Mexico on my route to Central America. Well, this climate's different. It's wet and everything's green. Pretty cool. Bit different from the desert. Still hot though. And it turns out I wasn't the only one in Mexico experiencing wet weather.
Well, this isn't fun. I've gone from sweating my tits off to freezing my tits off. So I've actually had to stop and I'm going to put my Bucker waterproof jacket on. Finally, I thought I wouldn't be wearing it for months. But yeah, surprise, surprise. So, ta-da! So these I've got this Vortex. Happy! So I didn't miss the rain. It's freezing cold. Bloody horrible. I'm about 66 k's away from where I need to be. Ugh.
I was now sheltering from my storm along with the locals, who definitely didn't have Gore-Tex. I guess when you're that wet through, there's no point in sheltering, but eventually it was dry enough for me to head off.
Aha! The ferretaria! It's obviously where you buy ferrets.
And the weather continued to improve, unlike the level of motorcycle protection worn by the locals.
The dream, ladies and gentlemen. Crocs, sleeveless top, on the phone, riding one-handed without a helmet. That, ladies and gentlemen, right there is freedom.
Now, however, it was time to leave the city and head off inland. It was nice to get a bit of speed going, and then have a change of scenery appear. Mountains. And in the mountains, as some towns were too steep to have main roads, they had another solution.
It's a proper underground network. Fuck me, what the hell is going on here? We've got junctions and stop signs in a tunnel. Who thought this was a good idea? Yeah, sat-nav isn't really working too well down here. Pretty cool. What a cool little town.
So I stayed the night in a hotel. Well, 90 and I both did. And in the morning, wheeled her outside, very carefully of course, before heading back inside to wash my face. Well, as best as you can in a Mexican hotel room.
No, stop. Stop! Oh, what have I done? Yes. Right. Do not use Mexican sinks anymore.
Which was a shame, because I needed to look presentable for TV.
Amigos de Como y Casa, esto no estaba planeado, pero saliendo de las instalaciones del canal me encontré un personaje muy interesante que les quiero presentar y la verdad es que yo estoy sorprendido por lo que les vamos a mostrar en unos momentos. Su nombre es Ed, él procede de Inglaterra y se encuentra en Durango, pero vamos a explicarles por qué. Hi Ed.
Hi.
I'm very...
The interview was essentially just covering things that happened in the previous episodes of this series, but it was nice to tell my story of how friendly the world really is.
So far, Mexico, I love, so friendly. In fact, when I was in Baja, where is it? I came out one morning and somebody had left me a little monkey as a present. It was called Choyero, which means a person from Baja, I think they said. But yeah, so it's things like this that have happened to me all the time I've been traveling in Mexico. In England, when we hear any news of Mexico, it's always bad. Although when most people hear news about England, it's also bad, because that's what most of the sort of foreign news is. But yeah, so I've loved Mexico, and it's just been things like this little monkey.
And how many times you plan to stay here in Durango and in our country, in Mexico?
I'll be in Durango for one night, I think. Then I will continue south. I will be in Mexico for 4 weeks, 5 weeks maybe, total.
Anyway, after the interview I got a hotel for the night, with 90 sleeping safe and sound with me inside, because my choice of low budget hotels often left something to be desired. Oh, and it was outside one of these budget hotels that I once again became a victim of Mexican violence.
I can't explain I need to get this on film. This little girl came out and gave me a little cuddly toy because she saw all the ones on my bike. Thank you very much. Oh, that's so sweet. Look at him. A little bit emotional over a teddy bear. So she came outside, gave me the teddy bear, and then ran inside to hide. So, Ellie the elephant, you are now going to the southern tip of Argentina.
What a terrifying country. It was soon time to wheel 90 out of another hotel room and ride to the country's capital, Mexico City, where I'd find lots of traffic and lots of puzzles about how this traffic works.
Now there's an interesting thing about indicators in Mexico, and that's that nobody really knows how to use them. Like this guy on this motorbike here has his hazards on, and he will have those on for every second of the day. Which will of course mean that nobody can tell us where he wants to go. A large percentage of cars on the roads will always have one indicator on, just because. I'm not really sure why. Yes, basically, if you see any indicators in Mexico, it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this is awesome, because when you filter through traffic, fortunately 90's got a bit of a fat arse on her. You go through, and there is a place for motorcycles to wait. And it's exclusively for motorcycles and arseholes. Hello. Come on, I'm like a little mouse working my way through traffic. That man's indicating right, nobody knows why. I'm not really sure. Like, what do you do? You just sort of enter it and go, move please. No shit! That was awesome! That's ridiculous. Safe to say I feel more at home in Mexico because that is a police motorcycle with a bald tyre. That guy's indicating right, and he's just going straight on. Or will he go right? Will he go... No, see he's indicating right and he's just turned left. It's absolute chaos. Which I kind of like because it means you just have to go with the flow. Awesome! Good work, Mexico! You may seem chaotic on the outside, but overall, you're bloody awesome.
So Mexico City was looking pretty sweet, but after a long day's riding around, and with a massive day's ride to Acapulco the following day, I got a hotel, because I really needed a good night's sleep. I cannot tell you where that noise is coming from, but
It's obnoxiously loud at any time of the day.
Farmacias similares y Fundación B solicita médico general, vendedor de mostrador y botarguero, interesado en pasar a dejar de luz laborada.
Thank fuck. Oh, fuck off. Nobody cares. I can guarantee nobody cares. Okay, I'm awake. Shut the fuck up.
I found the cunt that's responsible. This is how loud I've got to shout, because some wanker is playing bollocks at 7 in the morning. Oh no, wait, shut up!
Y carnita frita para tu almuerzo de hoy. Frente al restaurante local le ofrecen la carne gorda fresca de marrano de corral.
I just sent Rachel a message with slightly racist undertones saying, I bet he's just selling fucking tacos, and I think he is selling the ingredients for fucking tacos.
En la entrada del mercado en la pollería Tania le han preparado para el almuerzo de hoy un rico sabroso pollo al horno acompañado con su rico espagueti y su salsa verde.
Spaghetti. Spaghetti. Good. Woke me up at 7 in the morning to sell me fucking spaghetti. Fuck this, I'm just gonna leave the town. Do not stay in this hotel. Ever.
I decided I needed to leave the hustle and bustle of the big city and get some miles done. Rural landscapes are definitely more my thing, and traffic definitely isn't. Oh, and I know that normally you're not supposed to pass a coach when it's indicating, but I found an actual rule about indicators in Mexico. You see, when a vehicle here is indicating left, it means one of two things. Either they are telling you it's safe to pass them on the left, or they're about to turn left and probably kill you if you try to pass them. It's a very sensible rule.
Gold tuk-tuk with a spoiler! Oh, I need a photo of that bad boy. They're everywhere with tuk-tuk, big tuk-tuk. Come here, little bastard. I need a photograph of this. Can I take a photo? It's so cool. Tuk-tuks! Green one! I love tuk-tuks. They're everywhere. What's happened? Why are they... I mean, no complaints with me, I love tuk-tuks, but 50 miles ago there wasn't a single one, and now every other vehicle is a tuk-tuk. There's an ice cream van tuk-tuk. Where are they all coming from? And how do I own one? Oh my god, oh my god. I'm getting a little bit too excited by tuk-tuks. How do I own one? Mark my words, I will own a tuk-tuk. I wonder if I should buy one in Mexico and then like drive it through Death Valley. That would be a good idea. I need one. Right, I'm gonna go now, I need to think about tuk-tuks. Bye!
So the ride was alternating between rural landscapes and sleepy villages, and it was in one of these rural settings that I pulled over to check my oil, and I had quite the surprise.
Look at it.
Hello! Come here, Robin. I thought I saw you earlier. I could see a silver jacket. Oh,
got a snazzy guitar case. No,
Yeah.
guitar-lele, isn't it?
Ukulele. It's got red velour inside, look. Only the best. My ukulele.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm aware I look ridiculous. Although saying that, you're the one that's got a fucking great big spoiler on top.
Dave's alright. Although Dave hasn't been liking the topes. Bye folks.
Hi.
It was a nice surprise to see Rach again, and as we'd been apart from each other for so long, I decided to splash out on the best hotel room that pesos could buy.
Okay, what am I filming you doing?
You are filming me seducing you on the bed.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now are you ready to be seduced?
I think so.
Ready?
That's amazing.
Do you want to kill the lights?
Yeah. All my dreams have suddenly come true. For their little hearts. Oh look. Oh, I love it.
Now Rach and I weren't due for a proper meet-up yet, so the next day we went our separate ways again, and I went exploring some Mayan ruins alone. The brilliant thing about travelling on a bike is that you can find the attractions that other tourists can't, and having some 6th century ruins almost completely to yourself, except for a few locals, is pretty sweet.
Good on with these Mayans having a bit bigger feet. Because this could hurt very quickly. Because that is the edge of the step.
I explored around and visited quite a few ancient temples, and they all had something to offer. There were some big and impressive ones, and there were small and more modest ones, and there were almost mesmerising lines of stone columns, and there was a lizard. And while the lizard was pretty cool, the main pyramid at Chichen Itza was my favourite, although it is the 7th new wonder of the world, so that kind of makes sense. Mexico has a lot of history in it, and on the more modern side are the colonial towns built in the last 300 years. The architecture is certainly Spanish, and as a European, it was strange seeing something so familiar to me. Speaking of which... What wasn't familiar to a European, however, were the love hotels, and these are amazing. You see, you drive in, and the board says which rooms are available, and without even needing to bother with reception, you just drive straight into your own private garage. And then you press a button and the garage door closes behind you to shield you from prying eyes. Then you go into your suite and have complete privacy.
Aha, hello.
And there's even room service, so you don't even have to go outside.
Indeed, I was just gonna order something from the menu. Doesn't look like a food menu.
Well, you can still put them in your mouth.
Penis cages, condoms.
I think they're designed to fill you up a different way.
Anal lube. Oh, and a selection of songs. Yeah, and the naughty channels. I found the food menu. However, it follows a similar theme. Ladies. Yes, so this is definitely not a family hotel.
Rach and I hung out for a couple of weeks together, yes, outside of the hotel room as well, but eventually it was once again time to go our separate ways.
Goodbye. See you again at some point. Bye.
Rach was now heading down towards Guatemala, and as I headed north towards the Yucatan, there was something I had to do.
Might as well cross another one off the list. Hee hee. Onwards.
So with having Tabasco sauce and the Mexican state of Tabasco crossed off the bucket list, it was time to hit the road again. Now, the sauce was a bit spicy, but the temperatures here were consistently hot, so I frequently engaged in my favourite way to cool down.
Hola? ¿Sí? ¿Coconut? Una. Perfecto. ¿Perdón? 20. Cool. Gracias. Got me a coconut. Ah, so good.
So with my coconut in hand and the roads level and straight, it was no time at all before I got to the coast. And the weather was still as glorious as the scenery was interesting. And as I was now by the sea and it was so hot, it'd be rude not to have a cool down. My time in Mexico was now drawing to a close, and all that was left to do was a final bit of sightseeing. This country had been a great experience, and contrary to all the scaremongering I've been subjected to in Western countries, it was actually really good fun, and I'm glad I had to ride through it. I had a final night of camping, before the following day I headed to the border town of
Bacala.
and entered the country of Belize, which is where the next video will start. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked all the willies. Hi everybody, don't have time for a long outro because I'm off to Mongolia tomorrow for 2 weeks, so cutting it close for this one, but just wanted to say a quick thank you for watching, a very big thank you to Chris, the editor, who helped me get this done so much quicker than if I was solo, and thank you to Joe for helping with the animation, and yeah, that's about it. There's enough money in the pot to cover my living costs for the next edit and whatnot, and also to pay Chris and Joe for their work. And that is about it. So only donate to my PayPal account if you want to say thank you, I guess, but it's alright. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So I've really got to go. Bye!